You might not say it out loud, but you have probably wondered about it at some point in your life. When do I actually stop being middle class? You work hard, you save what you can, and maybe you even make what society considers a good income. Yet, somehow, it still feels like you are just getting by, especially with the way prices are rising today. The truth is that most people never really know where that invisible line is. They do not know the exact point where they officially step into what economists call the upper class. And that is because we usually look at the wrong metrics. Most people assume it is all about your annual income, or how much you earn in a single year. But income alone does not tell the full story of your financial health or your status. You can earn $200,000 a year and still feel broke if every single dollar goes right back out the door for expenses. The real measure of class, and the one that the truly wealthy quietly pay attention to, is net worth. Net worth is simply what you own minus what you owe. That is where the truth about your financial status really hides. In this video, we are going to break down the exact net worth that officially puts you in the upper class today. We will look at what that number actually represents for your lifestyle and your freedom. We will explore how ordinary households reach this milestone and why it might be more achievable for you than you think. If you are serious about building wealth that gives you real freedom, not just higher paychecks, make sure to stay with me until the end. Let us begin with a simple question. What does being upper class actually mean in the United States today? For some people, the image that comes to mind is owning a massive house and driving luxury cars. For others, it is the simple peace of never worrying about bills again. But if you go purely by income, it is very easy to make wrong assumptions. A person earning a high salary might be drowning in debt, high mortgages, and lifestyle costs that eat every paycheck. Income tells you how fast the money is flowing in, but net worth tells you how much of that money actually stays. That is why wealth researchers do not use income to define your true class. They use your assets minus your liabilities, because it is the truest reflection of where you stand. Think about a person earning $70,000 a year who has been investing steadily for 30 years. They might actually end up wealthier than a person earning triple that amount who spends everything to maintain an image. The real dividing line between the middle class and the upper class is not about how much you make. It is about how much you keep, how much that money grows, and how long that wealth will last. When we look at the official numbers from the Federal Reserve, that line becomes surprisingly clear. To understand what upper class really means, we first need to see where the majority of people actually stand. According to the latest data, the median household net worth in the United States is around $120,000. This means that half of all households in the country are below that mark. If you move up a level to the top 25%, that number climbs to about $500,000. But the real shift happens at the top 10%. This is where your net worth starts, around $1.2 million. That is the exact range where the upper class begins to emerge, according to most economic definitions. This is the point where your assets start earning real income on their own. It is the point where your lifestyle no longer depends entirely on your daily job. If you go even higher, the top 1% begins at roughly $10 million or more. That is true financial independence, where money grows faster than you could ever possibly spend it. These numbers might sound distant if you are starting from zero, but they are not unreachable. The line between the middle class and the upper class is often just a matter of time and consistency. So, let us talk specifically about that $1.2 million threshold. At this level, you have officially joined the top 10% of households. This does not necessarily mean you are rich in the way you see in the movies. It means you have reached the level where your money has started working for you. Your investments, rather than just your paycheck, begin covering a noticeable part of your living expenses. You might not say it out loud, but you have probably wondered about it at some point in your life. When do I actually stop being middle class? You work hard, you save what you can, and maybe you even make what society considers a good income. Yet somehow, it still feels like you are just getting by, especially with the way prices are rising today. The truth is that most people never really know where that invisible line is. However, this number does shift depending on how old you are. If you are in your 30s, a net worth of around $300,000 can already place you near the top for your age group. But by the time you reach your 50s or 60s, that upper-class line rises closer to that $1.2 to $1.5 million range. The key takeaway here is that being upper-class is not about owning yachts or expensive jewelry. It is about stability, freedom, and total control over your own time. It is the point where money stops being something you have to chase and starts becoming something that protects you. If $1.2 million sounds impossible to you right now, you are not alone. For most people, that number feels like something reserved only for the lucky few. They think it is only for business owners, high-level executives, or people who inherited wealth. But the real reason it feels so distant usually has less to do with your income and more to do with time. Most of us live in a cycle where money flows in and out so quickly that there is never enough left to grow. Rising housing costs, student loans, and constant lifestyle upgrades eat away at what could have become your future wealth. Then, there is the issue of impatience. We live in a world that celebrates instant results and quick wins. But real wealth does not grow that way. Compounding starts painfully slow, and it is almost invisible at the beginning. It only rewards the people who stay consistent for decades. Perhaps the biggest reason most people never cross that upper-class line is because they are too focused on looking successful instead of becoming successful. They chase the image, the big house, and the new car, all while trading away their most valuable asset. That asset is time in the market. Reaching that upper-class status is not about earning millions overnight. It is about doing the right things long enough for your money to start doing the work for you. When you finally cross into the upper class, it is not marked by a big announcement or a sudden change in your daily life. It does not feel like winning the lottery. In reality, it feels like a deep sense of calm. You stop worrying about the next bill, the next emergency, or whether the next paycheck will arrive on time. Your internal questions shift from, "Can I afford this?" to, "Do I even want this?" That is the real difference in your mindset. For most people who reach this level, life still looks surprisingly normal from the outside. They live in comfortable homes, they drive regular cars, and they take modest vacations. But behind the scenes, their money is quietly working through index funds, real estate, or other investments. It is producing income even while they are resting. What changes most is your relationship with the world around you. You stop chasing status because you no longer feel the need to prove anything to anyone. You start buying back your time instead of buying more things. That is what being upper class really means in the long run. It is freedom from financial anxiety, not flashy wealth. It is quiet, it is steady, and it feels like being in the driver's seat of your own life. So, how do people actually get there? How does an ordinary household go from struggling to save to building a seven-figure net worth? It almost never starts with a massive windfall or a giant paycheck. It starts with the habit of consistency. The people who reach the upper class rarely make one big leap. Instead, they make hundreds of small, smart decisions that compound over several decades. They choose to live below their means, not because they are cheap, but because they understand the long game. They invest as early as possible. They automate their savings, and they keep buying assets while everyone else is buying distractions. They avoid high-interest debt like it is a plague. They stay patient even when the stock market goes through a downturn. And most importantly, they measure their progress differently than the rest of the world. They do not compare their car to their neighbor's car. They track their net worth month by month. Once you start watching that number grow, even if it is slow at first, something changes in your brain. You stop looking for quick wins and start focusing on ownership and discipline. The truth is that anyone can begin this journey today. But only those who stay in the game long enough will ever see the true results of compounding. Here is the part that no one tells you about success. When you finally reach that upper-class net worth, it will not feel dramatic. There is no finish line, no applause, and no single moment where a bell rings. Instead, you will notice it in the small things. You will notice it when an unexpected repair bill for your home does not shake your world. You will notice it when your investments grow faster in a single month than you used to earn in a whole year. You will realize that your time has become your most valuable asset, not your money. That is the true definition of being upper class. It is not about luxury or excess. It is about the freedom to choose how you spend your days and who you spend them with. It is about the life you want to build next, without the shadow of debt hanging over you. If you are working toward that level right now, I want to tell you to stay patient. It is a long game, but every smart decision you make today is compounding for your future self. The small savings, the automatic investments, and the quiet discipline are all building a massive amount of momentum. One day, you will wake up and realize that your money has been working for you all along. The first million is always the hardest, but after that, the growth becomes exponential. When you have $1 million invested, a 10% market return adds $100,000 to your wealth in a single year. That is the power of the tipping point. That is the moment when you are no longer pushing the boulder uphill. Instead, you are watching it roll down the other side, gaining speed with every second. Keep learning, keep investing, and keep moving forward one step at a time. If you want to keep building this wealth mindset and get closer to your own financial freedom, make sure you are subscribed to this channel. We have many more videos designed to help you master your money quietly and intelligently. We focus on the long term because that is where the real wealth is created. Thank you for spending your valuable time with me today. I will see you in the next video as we continue to unpack the numbers that matter for your future. Take care of your finances, and they will take care of you.